Hey YouTube, Nate from WYSIWYG Studios here. Today we are going to be taking a look at Bolt Action from Warlord Games. So a bit of a belated look at their Band of Brothers starter set. With this starter set, it is the U.S. paratroopers storming a German-occupied Europe. Within this starter, you are going to get your Bolt Action rulebook, play sheet, and then the miniatures. So you get 24 U.S. airborne, and this is a 28 millimeter game. So it's going to be a squad based game, not going to be like huge army size stuff, but it is larger scale than, say, like Flames of War would be. You're also going to get 12 plastic German grenadiers, your half track for the German side, your templates sheets, some dice, some pin markers, and some terrain. So go ahead and get everything sorted real quick. Come back and we will take a closer look at what's inside. All right, first up we have the second edition rulebook and the pamphlet that comes specifically for the Band of Brothers starter. And so you have information on the United States Airborne, information on the German Panzer Grenadiers, what's in the box here, how to build stuff, the start of preparing for a battle. This will tell you what a D3 is and a D6, yada yada, all this other kind of stuff that you may need. Then it's going to walk you through the order of play for your turns, kind of holding your hand through your first game, which is cool, explaining everything exactly as it plays out. And so this is really nifty to be able to start the game. From what it looks like, however, this is only going to work is if you built these guys exactly like it says here in this section, assembling your forces. For somebody who hasn't played a miniatures game before, this is your first go into it. I would recommend building them like this, just so that way you can follow along here. But if you have experience in miniature games, or you are getting into this game with somebody who does have experience, I would find a different way to kit these guys out, because some of the stuff that they recommend for you to build isn't necessarily up to par with what these units are there for. So, yeah, that's just a real quick rundown for that. So, if you have experience, build them like you want. If you don't, I recommend using this pamphlet. If you want to jump into the deep end, get online. There's plenty of posts on Reddit and stuff like that, and even some videos here on YouTube that will explain the best way to build this set. Definitely would be able to do it a lot better than I can. So next we've got the full second edition rulebook. This is just your standard fare. I really like the size of this rulebook. It fits in the hands well. It's not really clunky like some of the oversized hardbound books that you can buy, which you can buy this in a hardback standard size. But if you go with this set, you're not gonna need it, of course. But it goes through the basics of everything. So looking at the table of contents, you got what supplies you're going to need, what units are, the turn, orders, breakdown of movement, shooting, your weapons, close quarters, the whole 9 yards, artillery and vehicles. And then it'll also give you some solid scenarios, both battle scenarios and attack defender scenarios to play out, which is fun. And then it goes into a small dive for force selections. So for each of the main armies for this game, it's going to give you some of your units for like headquarters and armories, what was I trying to say there? Not armory. It's armor, just flat out armor, so like tanks and stuff. Yeah. If you want more specific details about your armor, you will need to buy the Forces of books. So like Forces of Germany or Forces of Great Britain. That will give you all of the rules that you need. And then there are also campaign books, which will add units to certain armies for those campaigns, because during those campaigns or that year there were units that were used that aren't included in the base game, stuff like that. So just going through, it's got a lot of good diagrams when it comes to learning how to place your templates and how you're shooting and all that stuff. So the rules are very clear. In my opinion, this isn't a difficult game to learn. There are a couple of guffs that I've run into I'm not completely satisfied with, but unfortunately that's just the way that miniatures games work. There's always going to be one or two things that are kind of interesting to you, whether you like them a lot, dislike them a lot, or kind of meh. So special rules, and then we'll go ahead and jump back to the back real quick. So here's some of the scenarios. It's just your typical setup zones, and it'll be certain things you have to do. There'll be more military-esque scenarios like capture an HVT or find the top secret document, that kind of stuff. But they will generally play the same as other games will. And then real quick look at some of the stuff here. So like Germany, it'll give you some of your troop profiles, but like I said, your Forces of books will do a better job of letting you know what you can and cannot take. So quick look at the rulebook. I really like that this is in there. Let's see. All right, so we'll start off just because this is the first sprue that I ran into. There's a couple of other things that we will look at before we get into all of the miniatures, but this is the building that comes with it. And so it's your standard burned out cobblestone building that you would have found in Europe during this time period. You got yourself a chimney and some other little tidbits. So that should be fun to put together and paint up real quick, just to have some kind of realistic terrain. Not using some crazy sci-fi stuff for this game. Alright, so comes with your dice here, and you got your standard D6s for D6 checks, so when you're attacking and all that kind of stuff. But the other thing it comes with are these larger D6s that have your orders on them. And so the whole thing this is like a fog of war type thing. And so you'd put how many of your unit activations you're going to have. You throw that many of your colored dice in a bag, and then someone randomly draws. And when they randomly draw whatever color it is, that's the person who gets to activate. And so thanks to this, like I said, it's their fog of war mechanics. So there could be times where your opponent goes 2 or 3 times in a row, or you go 2 times in a row. I mean, the statistical probabilities are out there if you guys want to do the math, but I definitely enjoy the system. I like it. It reminds me of Legion, Star Wars Legion, with the way that they do their activations and stuff. So I've always enjoyed the fog of war aspect of some of these games. Anyway, loud noises when it comes to dice, get those out of the way. And you're going to have another set of tokens. So these are going to be like your status tokens. So, you have like hidden tokens here, tokens for movements and stuff. Looks like indirect fire, someone's shooting at you indirectly here. It's like a jammed turret, stuff like that. And then you're going to have, so what's new in version 2 of bolt action is that heavy explosive weapons like artillery and stuff are now being used with a template. And that's one of those little contentions that people have, is that uh, the the first version of the game didn't have templates, and just when they went to rework that system, some people were a little disappointed that they went to templates instead of reworking the system that they had. So that's the template sheet. And then last but not least, you have your pin markers. So within the game, these are, if you're familiar with like Star Wars Legion, this would be like your suppression tokens. And so they give you various negative effects within the game, because you've been getting shot at. So you've got that what is it, the fibs factor, I think is what they call it. Or yeah, well, fibs is if you got shot, and there's another one that if you're getting shot at. But anyway, I digress. So I really like that it's the clear acrylic. It's very easily seen from across the table if need be. So yeah, pin tokens, like it. Yeah, so within this, so basically you're getting just the two identical sprues to be able to build up the infantry how you want them. So you've got your main bodies, and then your various guns that you're going to want to give them. You got a various other things. What is this? Huh. Really like. Oh yay, grenade. But yeah, sorry. I got a little distracted. This is the first time I've seen these sprues, so just trying to check out what all the little things are on there. So plastic, it's softer than GW plastic, if that tells you anything, but definitely like that it's on sprues. Oh, throwing stuff. So there's, slide the Germans up top. You don't lose them. So then you get 1, 2, 3, and 4, which if these are 6-mans, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so these are 6-man bodied. So yeah, so you're just getting 4 of those sprues, and you can build them however your heart's content for whatever you want your army to be doing. So you got your 6 bodies, and then all of the weapons that you could use for these guys. So that's the infantry. So it's good that I do like the way that is stacked in the game when it comes to that stuff. It's you've got, they give you the sprue. This is how many models you can build with that sprue. Here's your customization stuff. Have at it. I love that. All right, so we got our German half track. So it's top part sprue, its wheels and whatnot. You've got a choice of putting a gunner on there with some passengers. And then the other side here, gas cans, some more armaments, your half track, so forth. So same plastic, so it's not different plastic between the pieces, which is cool. I have run into games where the plastic is different depending on what you're messing with, whether if it's heroes are made of different material than the infantry, and then some infantry has different materials than other infantry, and it kind of gets old having to figure out all of the different materials that they're using. So I digress again. You get all your bases, which I really think these are nifty bases. So they definitely went with the, it's just a regular flat round, but I really like that they have that lip there still, instead of like with games like Games Workshop where they have the perfectly round bases, no lips, off to the side there, but then it's just, you know, a flat top. This right here I like because you can do some modeling to that if you wanted to use some type of liquid modeling or even some paste and stuff. You have a nice area to be able to work in without having anything flowing over. So those are all the bases. Looks like I had one guy pop off, or I don't know, that looks like it's been clipped. Anyway, so extra body in there for some reason. You get your little instructions on how to build the half track, and then their instructions for the U.S. Airborne and the Grenadiers, and it actually marks everything for you on here, showing you what each of those weapons and stuff are. Decals. Can't go wrong with decals. Oh, they're upside down. Woo! Okay, and that is it. That's real quick. I know it's belated. This set's been out for a hot minute now, but you know, New Year's came about. Some of the guys around the area have gotten into this, and so I've been dying to jump into it, and now I have a reason to do so. So there's this. It's everything you get. Again, I feel like this is a really good spot to start with, because you get your terrain, your pin markers, and your dice, plus your templates, because some of the starters out there don't have any of that. So you still have to go out and buy the needed materials. So it's really nice that this comes with that. And then it's got a decent size force for both sides, anywhere from 400 to 500 points each side, depending on how you build your infantry. Well, and for the Germans, how you do your half track too can change your points values. But good entry point if you're looking at starting either of these armies, or if you want to split it with somebody, that's even better, because then now you can go off and do your own thing as a demo box set. I really like it because I can purposely make both teams pretty much identical and be able to teach the quick rules and whatnot to somebody in a very, very quick way, and then after the fact be able to go in and explain some of the nuances of each of the armies, so they have a little bit more educated guessing to do when it comes to what armies they want to play and what they want to do in the future, whether it's buying Germany or America or one of the other main factions. So like it, recommend it. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. If you liked what you saw, hit that subscribe button and throw up a like for me, because that helps with my visibility. The goal for this year is to raise my visibility on YouTube. So if you guys can help me out with that, it would be awesome. But yeah, other than that'll do it for us today. So again, thanks for watching. Have a good one.